Thank you for showing up once again. Welcome to my channel. If it's the first time, kindly show me some love by subscribing to this channel, liking my video and sharing. Now, let's just take a look at what PLO Lumumba is saying in relations to African development, Africa progressiveness, and Africa as a continent. Let's have a look.
And what is it that ails Africa? What is it that makes a continent that is so rich to underperform in such a manner? These are the practical questions that I believe we are here to address our minds to. As I speak to you now, nearly 19 African countries are under distress, which means that they are under the beck and call of the World Bank and the IMF, the Bretton Woods institutions, in positions where you serve. Those of you who are slightly older will remember the IMF and our structural adjustment systems in the 1980s. They came, they told you, devalue. They came, they told you, borrow more. They came, they told you, privatize. They came, and they behaved as if one size fits all. The prescription that they gave in Zambia is the very same that they gave in Kenya. It is the very same that they gave in Nigeria and in Ghana. And you and me who are trained in their universities consume them lock, stock, and barrel. And we still have a story to tell. When we visit our countries, our health facilities don't perform as they should. Our schools don't perform as well as they should. Our currencies don't perform as they should. I'm quite certain the 22 countries which are present here, almost all of you who are outside of Ghana are carrying dollars in your pockets. Because the dollar is the only currency that will be understood and accepted even here in Ghana. None of you dare brought the maloti from Lesotho. None of you dare brought the rand from South Africa. None of you dare brought the kwanza from Angola. We are all prisoners of currencies which we do not control, and yet on a daily basis we say that our economies are doing well. The question is, what have we done and what are we not doing in a proper manner? You know, when I look at Africa, when I listen to our heads of state, when I listen to our foreign ministers, our finance ministers, when I listen to our accountants general such as yourselves, the rhetoric is right. You say the right things. You appear to do the right things. You appear to have the right legislation. You appear to have the right technology, if miss. You appear to use the same language, digitization. But why is it that Coca-Cola's advertisement budget is larger than the GDP of Lesotho? Why? These are the painful questions that we must ask ourselves, because it is not a shortage of legislation. It is not a shortage of policy framework. There must be something that we are doing that is not leading us into the right direction. And the question is, therefore, knowing as we do that we are at crossroads, what is it, therefore, that we must do in order to liberate ourselves from the sorrow and pain that we continue to labor under over the years?
An African of a goodwill, honestly speaking, you can realize that this continent is not going anywhere. Now, though we are optimistic about this, we as Africans, of course, that's why we are talking about this. But we have to be realistic with our goals. What do we want at the end of the day? because we are no longer talking of integration. And when you're talking about integration, we are just talking about integration on paper. When it comes to implementation, zero. So in one way or another, we're just talking to please one another. So we as a continent, we are facing lots and lots of problems. And believe you me, if we don't speak as one, then we are going nowhere. Africa Agenda 2063 will be null and void. Why? Because we are speaking different languages. We are not integrating. We have different education systems. We are electing corrupt leaders into office. And the cycle continues. And one problem with Africa is we don't define our interests. Like, what do we want? Even when you look at how Africa presents itself in the United General Assembly, we are presenting ourselves as if we are divided. And indeed we are divided. Because the reason why we are here talking about this is because we want Africa to be united. So imagine a small country like Eswatini. A small country like Eswatini presenting itself as a country to a bigger country like China. Do you think that is really a benefit to the both countries? I don't think so. It must be benefiting China more than benefiting Eswatini. But imagine if this Eswatini, now I'm just using an example, if Eswatini comes together with other countries and Africa to be merged and become one country, we will be very far, man. Believe me, because even when we are going to the UN General Assembly, we will be sending only one representative representing Africa as a continent. And when we will be speaking in the United Nations General Assembly, people will be listening. Why? Because we are one, we are united, we are talking as a continent, not as small countries within one continent. That's why we are even looked down upon. So we have to unite. We as a continent, we have to unite. We have to unite. The dreams of our forefathers must be realized during this generation. One army. Have you ever imagined if Africa was one, with one currency? One currency. 55 African countries using one currency. One president, one army. Have you ever imagined of that? That is so powerful. And actually, the world is fearing that. That's why there is a lot of confusion. Whenever we try to unite, confusion of the highest order. And the problem again is coming from our leaders. People who are just corrupt. They're minding their own families. They're minding their own businesses. They don't even care about normal people. They are old generations, clinging into power, not taking us anywhere. That is our problem, we as Africans. And Africans must unite and unite immediately. We must be united. We must be united. We must strengthen every aspect of African continent and become one. And you see, even the so-called African presidents, even if, look at how they're treated in the UN General Assembly, honestly speaking. They're just looked down. When an African head of state is making a speech in the UN General Assembly, the room is literally empty. The room is literally empty. Why? Because they don't have anything to offer. Compare that with when the Prime Minister of Little Israel is speaking in the UN General Assembly. People are listening. People are listening. Why? Because Israel is a powerhouse. Israel is a powerhouse. Even if it's small, compare that to a leader of an African country when speaking. The room is normally literally empty. You can go check that. Literally empty. Why? We don't have influence. We don't have anything to offer. We are mere African countries. Mere African countries. So, ladies and gentlemen, the thing is, we as Africans must unite. And I'm happy that it's already happening. I'm happy it's already happening, because if you take a look at the map of Africa, it's already happening. Go to the Sahel region. There are good things happening there. There are good things happening in the Sahel region. Look at what President Traore is doing. Massive and wonderful job. That is the spirit of Pan-Africanism. That is what we want to achieve by the end of the day. We must achieve that. We must put this continent to the global map. And we must be respected. Thank you for listening to my video. If it's your first time here, kindly show me some love by subscribing to my channel, and let's make this channel a greater channel. See you next time.